Imagine you're cleaning out your car. Cup holder, center console, that little tray near the gear shift. You scoop up a handful of coins without thinking, quarters, pennies, a few dimes, and you drop them in a jar on your kitchen counter. Normal Tuesday, except one of those dimes is worth $40,000, and you just tossed it in a jar. That is not a hypothetical. That is the kind of thing that has happened to real people in real kitchens across this country. Because here's what the coin collecting world knows that most Americans don't. Valuable dimes are not locked up in museums. They are not sitting in velvet cases behind glass. Some of them are in circulation right now. Some of them passed through your hands this week. And the only thing separating a person who finds one from a person who spends one is knowing what to look for. By the end of this video, you're going to have that knowledge. We're going to start with the coins that could realistically be sitting in your pocket today. The ones with documented errors and rare features that ordinary people have genuinely found in recent years. Then we're going to step into the territory of the legendary coins, the ones that sell for 6 and 7 figures at auction, the ones that exist in almost impossible scarcity. And finally, we're going to walk you through exactly how to check any dime you own step by step so you never accidentally spend something extraordinary again. Stay with me, because this gets genuinely surprising very quickly. Let's start in a place most coin videos skip entirely: your actual pocket change. Not museum coins, not auction house legends, the stuff you could find this afternoon. Here's something that shocks most people when they first hear it. In 1964, the United States Mint produced Roosevelt dimes in 90% silver. The following year, 1965, they switched to a copper nickel-clad composition, a cost-saving measure that changed American coinage permanently. Now, that transition sounds straightforward. It was not. During the switchover, a small number of coins were accidentally struck on the wrong planchets. A 1965 dime struck on a 90% silver planchet from the previous year's supply is called a transitional error, and it is one of the most sought-after modern errors in American numismatics. How do you find one? Weight. A silver dime weighs exactly 2.50 grams. A clad dime weighs 2.27 grams. That difference is small, but a cheap digital scale catches it instantly. If you find a Roosevelt dime dated 1965, 1966, or 1967 that weighs 2.50 grams, you may be holding something genuinely rare. Authenticated examples have sold for thousands of dollars. And because most people never weigh their coins, these pieces still circulate. But weight errors aren't the only thing hiding in modern dimes. Here's where it gets even more interesting. The United States Mint produces special proof coins every year. Highly polished, mirror-finish pieces struck for collectors. These are made exclusively at the San Francisco Mint, and they always carry a small S mint mark as proof of their origin. Always. Except for a few extraordinary years when they didn't. In 1968, through a production error that the Mint didn't immediately catch, proof dimes were struck and distributed in collector sets without the S mint mark. People bought these sets, put them on shelves, and had absolutely no idea. When the error was discovered, numismatists went back and checked, and found that the No-S Proof Dime existed. Today, fewer than 20 examples are confirmed. Auction values have reached over $20,000 for a single coin that came out of a standard collector set that retailed for a few dollars. And 1968 wasn't the only year this happened. In 1970, it happened again. Another production oversight, another run of proof dimes missing their mint mark, another small number of collector sets shipped out to the public containing something far more valuable than anyone realized. The 1970 No-S Roosevelt Proof Dime has sold for over $500 in mid-grade condition, and higher-grade examples push well into the thousands. Now pay attention here, because this next one is in a category of its own. In 1975, the San Francisco Mint did it a third time, and this one is the most dramatic of all. Only two. 1975 No-S Roosevelt Proof Dimes have ever been confirmed to exist. Both have sold at auction for over $400,000 each. $400,000 for a dime that came in a proof set. Those sets were distributed to collectors across America in 1975. Some people kept them. Some passed them down. Some sold them at estate sales decades later without checking the coins inside. If you have a 1975 proof set in original government packaging, that set deserves a very close look at the dime before you do anything with it. That story barely has time to settle before the next one arrives, and this one will genuinely surprise you. The year is 1982. Roosevelt dimes have been carrying a P mint mark for Philadelphia production since 1980. A small but important change made to distinguish Philadelphia coins from unmarked issues of earlier years. In 1982, something went wrong in quality control. A die without the P mint mark was used, and a number of 1982 dimes were struck and released into circulation without any mint mark at all. These are called 1982 No-P Roosevelt dimes, and unlike the proof errors we just discussed, these entered everyday commerce. They didn't go into collector packaging. They went into cash registers and vending machines and change jars. People have found them in bank rolls, in inherited coin collections, in jars full of old pocket change. A high-grade example in uncirculated condition has sold for well over $1,000. Even a worn circulated example carries a premium. This is a coin that could genuinely still be out there, and you identify it by checking any 1982 Philadelphia dime for the absence of a P on the obverse near the date. We've covered coins you might realistically find. Now let's step into a different world entirely. The world of coins so rare that finding one wouldn't just change your day, it would change your life. The 1916 D Mercury dime sits at the crossroads of these two worlds, which is part of what makes it so compelling. It's not ancient. It's not theoretically impossible to find. It's a coin from 1916, Denver Mint, and it was struck in a mintage of only 264,000 pieces, tiny compared to the hundreds of millions produced at other mints that same year. Collectors recognized the rarity almost immediately, which means many were pulled from circulation early. But not all of them. Stories surface periodically of 1916 D Mercury dimes found in old coin jars, in estates, in inherited wallets that nobody opened for 50 years. The coin itself is beautiful, Liberty wearing a winged cap on the obverse, a fasces and olive branch on the reverse. The critical identifier is that D mint mark on the reverse, just above the word 1. In high uncirculated grade, a 1916 D Mercury dime has sold for well over $100,000. In worn, heavily circulated condition, it still commands several thousand. There is no version of this coin that isn't valuable. Now we go to coins that exist in quantities measured in single digits and prices that begin to feel surreal. The 1942-41 Mercury dime emerged from World War II in a production mistake that was never supposed to happen. Philadelphia and San Francisco Mint dies engraved for 1941 were supposed to be retired. Instead, they were re-engraved with the date 1942 and put back into service. The underlying 1 didn't disappear. It ghosted beneath the new 2, creating a coin where, under magnification, you can see both years simultaneously. It's called an overdate error, and this particular example is one of the most dramatic in American numismatic history. Authenticated high-grade examples have sold at auction for over $100,000. The identifying detail, that doubled ghosted date, is visible with a magnifying glass and a steady hand. The 1894 S Barber dime sits in a category that almost defies belief. In 1894, the San Francisco Mint produced exactly 24 of them. The exact reason remains debated among historians. The most credible theory involves balancing a minor discrepancy in mint accounts. Whatever the reason, only 9 are confirmed to survive today. In 2016, one sold for nearly $2 million. This is not a coin you find in pocket change. This is a coin that, if one ever surfaces, arrives through estate settlements, private collections, or auction house consignments, and changes hands for life-altering sums. The 1873 cc No-S dime is even more extreme. Only one is known to exist, a single coin surviving from the Carson City Mint's brief production before the entire run was melted. The survival of even that one example is an accident of numismatic history. There is no price for this coin because it's essentially not for sale. And the 1796 draped bust dime is simply the beginning. The very first year the United States produced dimes as a standard coinage, only 22,135 were struck. Surviving examples in any condition carry prices well into the six figures. Holding one is holding American history from the era of the founding generation. Here's what connects all of these coins, and this is the most important thing to understand. Rarity alone doesn't make a coin valuable. Condition matters enormously. A 1916D Mercury dime in poor, barely readable condition is worth perhaps $2,000. The same coin in perfect, uncirculated condition is worth 100 times more. The coin grading scale runs from 1 to 70, with 70 being a theoretically perfect, untouched specimen. Every point on that scale represents real money, especially for rare dates and errors. So here is exactly how to check your own dimes. Start by pulling every dime you own and sorting by date. Anything 1964 and earlier is silver and worth at minimum $1 or $2 for metal content, regardless of anything else. Set those aside immediately. Then look at your modern dimes, 1965 onward, and check the mint mark location on the obverse near the date. Philadelphia coins show P after 1980. San Francisco proof coins show S. No mark where one should be is your signal to investigate further. Weigh any dime that seems unusual. 2.5 grams means silver. 2.27 means clad. A discrepancy is a flag. Examine the edges. Silver coins show a solid silver edge. Clad coins show that copper stripe running through the middle. Get a 10-power magnifying loupe and examine dates closely on any Mercury dime for signs of doubling or overdates. Look at the mint mark on 1982 Philadelphia dimes for its presence or absence. The single most important rule: do not clean any coin you think might be valuable. Cleaning destroys the original surface at a microscopic level and can reduce a coin's numismatic value by 90%. Professional graders identify cleaned coins immediately, and the market treats them as damaged regardless of their rarity. When you find something you believe is significant, submit it to either PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. Both organizations authenticate and grade coins, sealing them in tamper-evident holders with their certification. Without that certification, selling any valuable coin is difficult. With it, you have documentation that makes a coin sellable at full market value through reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. Where have real people found valuable dimes? Bankrolls remain one of the most productive places. You buy rolls of dimes directly from your bank and search through them systematically. Old coin jars from estate sales are another high-yield source. Families that accumulated change for decades sometimes unknowingly preserved rare coins alongside ordinary ones. Coin shows allow you to buy dealer lots inexpensively and search through them yourself. And inherited collections, the ones left in boxes and drawers and forgotten closets, have produced some of the most significant finds in modern numismatic history. Here is your final checklist. For silver, prioritize anything 1964 and earlier. For Mercury dimes, focus on 1916D, 1921, 1921D, and any coin with a date that looks unusual under magnification. For modern Roosevelt dimes, check 1965 through 1967 for weight. Check any proof set from 1968, 1970, and especially 1975 for a missing S. And check every 1982 Philadelphia dime for a missing P. For errors of any kind, doubled dates, off-center strikes, wrong weights, clipped edges, the key is simply paying attention. Most people don't. That's the entire reason these coins are still out there. The next dime you receive in change could look completely ordinary. Same size, same color, nothing obviously different, until someone tells you it's worth more than a luxury home. That's the thing about rare coins. They don't announce themselves. They wait for the one person who knows exactly what to look for. Now you're that person. If you enjoyed uncovering hidden treasures like this, don't forget to subscribe, because there are entire categories of quarters, nickels, and pennies hiding in plain sight, and we're going to find every single one of them.